Hey friends, Melissa here, and I'm coming in to talk to you today about what is in the past is in the past, and there's nothing you can do about that. You have to live in the present. And one of the quotes that I had was, let go of what you thought should happen and live in what's happening. And it's so interesting how this aligns with many of our lives in different capacities. It could be in relationships, it could be in our health, our wellness, our finances, our career, our friendships, education, spirituality, all of that. Because if we think about what should be happening and trying to control from that standpoint, then we're never going to be living in what's happening now. And so, given the interesting times that we're in right now, I get it. It's one of those things like, well, how do I navigate this? How do I, live in what's happening now when I can remember what used to be, how it should be? Why is it not happening in that way anymore? And I just want to get my life back on track, and I want all this to end, and I want the mask off, and I want everything to be open again with concerts and sporting events and all of that. And I get that. I do too. I really do. And the question is will we ever get back to that? And that's the question that's unknown. And it could be 6 months from now, a year from now, and let's hope it's not any longer than that. But what we can do now is be in the present moment. And oftentimes that's really hard because we're so used to planning ahead, filling out our calendars weeks at a time, thinking about what we forgot to do yesterday so we can do it again today, remember to do it today. And that's where I align the energy with what's the most important thing. And right now it's being present. You're here present with me. You're in this moment. Yeah, there's some things running through your head that you need to take care of as soon as you quit listening to this. And you might even cut me off mid-sentence so that you can go take care of those things. But I hope you'll come back and revisit this video because I want to give you some tips that will allow you to get back to the present moment. So what I like to do is, for instance, scrolling Facebook. We're all familiar with that. We get to scrolling along. Well, I've set up my own words, my own trigger, that's the word, for me to stop, for me to start being aware that I am scrolling unconsciously through Facebook. And that's another reference that I use as numbing out or going unconscious because we're distracting what needs to be done, what could be being done, and what maybe we want to forget about what just happened. So that to me is where I'm offering myself permission to say, anytime that I'm scrolling for too long, I want my higher self to tell me that's enough. And so I have put that into motion, and I do. I start flipping through, and all of a sudden I can hear my inner voice say, you're scrolling. And it's like, okay, that's my clue for me to stop. And so when that cue comes up to say you're scrolling, I stop, set the phone aside. Now, it doesn't mean I don't pick it back up a few minutes later and get back into it again, but it allows me to be in this moment. And another thing that you can do also is if you find you're scattered and you're trying to figure things out and you're moving around and nothing's getting done, is just pause and feel your heart, your heart's beating, feel the breath that you're taking in and out. You do that every day, all day long, without even having to think about it. Your body takes care of that for you. But if you pause in that moment and really can feel your heart beating and feel the breath, the air coming in and out, that's when you start really grounding in the present moment. Because again, you're not in the present moment when you're not worrying about your breathing or your heart, right? It just does its thing and you go on and live happily ever after. But that's the way that you can, set up those boundaries or set up those agreements with yourself so that you can really take responsibility and not feel like you're never getting anything done, you're too overwhelmed, you're confused, you don't know what it looks like beyond this circumstance, so you're out in the future creating what it's going to look like, or you're going back in the past of all the wonderful times and experiences and you want to go back there. You're pulling yourself at both ends, and that doesn't allow you to stay present in the moment and be a productive business owner, parent, family member, friendships, those kind of things. So give yourself permission to set up some agreements of what that's going to look like. And I know for me, it's not something that happened right away. You have to work on it. And so that's what I offer you today is find a way to pull yourself back into the present moment. Oh, and by the way, if something happens, like you stub your toe, you drop a plate, a noise startles you, that's to bring you all back into the present moment. And sometimes the universe will do it for you and you don't have to do the work. So be aware of that. So anytime you're caught off guard with something unexpected, remember, oh, it must be the universe bringing me back to my consciousness of being present. I hope this is in service to you. As always, I'm sending you tons of love and lots of light. Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you soon.